Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Anybody has a question? No questions? So we talked about classification in the previous class. We had talked about logistic regression, and we talked about a binary classifier. Okay, we talked about binary classifier. What is a binary classifier? In which my output has what?
Two,
What
two.
is my output? Two classes. Okay, so we assigned a zero. We assigned numeric values zero and one to each of those two classes. So it was quite straightforward. Now, if my output has more than two classes, as we have previously discussed, that it's not that straightforward. We cannot just assign 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth to those multiple classes, because it sort of assigns a hierarchy to my system, which we do not want. Okay, we do not want to assign hierarchy to different classes. Okay, what can we do if we have more than two classes? Can we apply something similar to a binary classification in that case? Can we do something about it? Let us say your output has three possible values, A, B, and C. Okay. What do you do in this case?
चल ऐसे पता नहीं काम करेगा कि नहीं, ये कर सकते हैं, बार बार बाइनरी क्लासिफिकेशन लगाएं, पहले एक बार ए को अलग करें और बाकी को हटाएं, ऐसे बी को करें, तो अगर हो सकता है वैसे।
Did you know about this previously, or you are just guessing it right now?
मैं गेस कर रहा हूँ सर कि अगर शायद से हो सकता है।
You are almost there. So what we do? We first apply. So we consider A to be one class. Okay. So A becomes your, let us say, 1, and these becomes your B and C become your 0. Okay, so if something belongs, so if my data set has some x and some y, okay, and it has various values a, b, c, a, and you have something on your left hand side x, obviously corresponding to each of these x's you have either a, b, or c, and a, b, c, c, something like that. Okay, so what do you do? What do you do? In the first step, what do? You take A as your 1. Okay, so A becomes 1, and each of these becomes a, everything else becomes a 0. Okay, so now you do a classification. Using simple logistic regression, you considering that you have only two classes, 1 and 0. Okay, so after you're said and done with the whole thing, what are you going to get? You're going to get a classifier. Okay, let us call that classifier, the function, as PAX. Okay, you're going to get some value of PAX. Okay, do you all understand what is going on or no? So instead of PX, I'll have PAX. Is that all right? Dipanshu, what do you think?
Yes, sir.
Can we do this for, I mean, is anything stopping us from doing this? I didn't hear anything. Can you repeat?
Sir, it seems good.
Okay. So now, in the next step, what are you going to do? So you're going to fit this data and find out the value of PAX. So obviously PAX is going to be a function of what? It is going to be your sigmoid function. Okay, and what is the sigmoid function? E to the power beta 0 plus beta 1 x over 1 plus beta 0 plus beta 1 x. Okay, it is going to look something like this. Okay, obviously we'll have beta 0 a, let us call that as, and beta 0 beta 1 a. Okay, so this is for when we are assuming a is your primary class and everything else is clubbed into another class which is 0. Okay, so you can find out the probability of something being a. Okay, now similarly you can find out p bx, okay, and p cx. Okay, this, so after training you'll find these coefficients, okay, beta 0 a, beta 1 a, and so on and so forth, okay, for all the 3 different classifiers. So you have trained 3 binary classifiers. Okay, so once you have done that, this is based on the data that you have already, your data set that is available to you. Now let us say you get an unknown quantity x. Okay, this x is you know x, but you do not know what is the y corresponding to this. You need to find that out. How will you do that? After this training has been done, how are you going to do that? How are you going to assign a, b, or c to your a particular input? How will you do that? कैसे करेंगे? Vaishnavi, what do you think? You there?
Oh, yes, sir. Hello?
Yeah. I can hear you now. Can you repeat? Are you saying something? Or you have no idea what to do next? Ashish, any idea what to do next?
No idea.
Guess karo yaar. Were you there in the last class or no?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, then you cannot answer
I missed
that.
last class.
Okay. Aditya, what do you think? What is the next step? Nope. Asha, what do you think?
There is further classification of decision between B and C.
No, we are not doing that. So in the first scenario, we assigned A to be 1 and B, C to be zeros. Okay. In the next scenario, when we are trying to calculate PB, what are we going to do? We are going to assign B to be 1 and A and C to be zeros. Okay, and so based on that we'll calculate PB. Okay, and finally we'll do the same thing with C. So what do you think? Once I have trained these 3 classifiers, okay, based on my training data, I have trained these 3 classifiers. I have found out PA as a function of x. Okay, I have found out PB as a function of x. I have found out PC as a function of x. So what are these? Given x, I can find out what is the probability of something being A. Okay, and given x, I can find out probability of something being B. And given x, I can find out the probability of something being C. I know these. So Asha, what are we going to do next? If I have an unknown x, Okay, it's not an unknown x, an input x with an unknown y. How do I assign y to it? That is my goal. No, in my machine learning algorithm is supposed to spit out the correct classification. So how do I do that?
सर तीनों p में डाल देंगे x
Yeah,
जिसका
Vishwansh, रुक जाओ. I am asking her. So let her answer. Yeah.
So we will compare the A, B, and C according to their correlation.
According to the correlation.
Like threshold, we will decide which is favorable to Y according to that.
No, but we do not know why. We do not know what y is. I have an previously unseen input. This is a previously unseen input by my data, by my system. Previously unseen input. What is my y going to be? How do I do that? Tanya, what do you think?
Sir, I think we should put x in PA, PB and PC,
Yeah.
and जिसका सबसे ज़्यादा आएगा उस पे belong करेगा.
Good. So what are we going to do? We are going to assign this x to, we are going to put this as the input to PA. Okay, I'll find the probability of something being A, okay, given the value of x. Okay, let us say I get PA to be equal to, let us say 0.4. Okay, so what does that mean? That if I had a binary classifier where one class was A and other class was B or C, okay, it does not matter whether it was B or C, I'm going to assign them the same thing. So if that is the case, then the probability of something being A is 0.4. Okay, similarly I put that input as into PB. Okay, what is this going to give me? What is the probability of something being B, assuming that all of the classes are clubbed together? Okay, so let us say that this comes out to be 0.7. Okay, and PC, something being C given an input x, let us say it comes out to be 0.1. Okay, so the probability of something being A is 0.4. Okay, the probability of something being B is 0.7, and the probability of something being C is 0.1. Okay, please understand that this is not the same system. Okay, so the probabilities of these do not have to become 1. Okay, they do not have to be summed up to be equal to 1, because these are 3 different classifiers that we are doing. Okay, so the only thing that we can say about if the probability of something being A is 0.4, what is the probability of something not being A? क्या होगी? From the first classifier, what can I say, Shivansh?
0.6.
0.6. Okay, but so please understand that these are separate models in one sense. Okay, so please do not get worried कि भाई ये 0.4 है, ये 0.7 है, ये 0.1 का sum 1 क्यों नहीं हो रहा? That is not the case. Okay, because we are doing 3 different binary classifications here. Okay, so what is my y going to be according to this? According to this system, ये जो हमने model बनाया है, Vaishnavi, are you saying something?
Yes, sir, I have doubt. If we get probabilities of PA and PB same, then
Obviously.
or all C same.
Then we do not know, which happens in quite a few classifiers. Okay, obviously we have, so when we're talking about classification, okay, so there is obviously a sort of certainty assigned to each of your outcomes. Okay, so for example, let us talk about the original classifier that we had. Okay, we had crosses on the right hand side and circles on the left hand side. Okay, and my decision boundary was over here. Okay, in the middle. Okay, now I get a new data point, which is this. Okay, what do you think is your output going to be corresponding
It
to
will be a
this
cross.
cross?
Yes.
Okay, we are quite certain about it. Okay, we are quite certain about the fact that this is going to be a cross. Okay, but when we are close to the decision boundary, let us say my point is over here. Okay, this is my point. Okay, which is denoted by the arrow. Okay, if this is my point very close to my decision boundary, Okay, I may assign a 0 to it based on my algorithm. Okay, I may assign a circle on 0 to it, but what do you think
The
is
certainty is
is
less.
the confidence that you have in assigning a 0? Do you think you have more confidence in assigning a cross over here, or more confidence in assigning a 0 over here?
For cross, we will be sure. We will have
Me, we
more
have more
certainty.
more certainty about this being a cross than this being a 0.
Zero.
Are you able to understand that based on the based on your probabilities also? Okay, your p x is equal to e to the power beta 0 plus beta 1 x over e to the power 1 plus beta 0 plus beta 1 x. Okay, even based on these probabilities, what is the probability around here very close to the decision boundary? It is going to be
It's around zero.
no, around half.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
0 is going to be very far away on this side.
Hmm.
Okay, okay, 0 is going to be far away from on this side. At the decision boundary, what is your probability? It is half. Do you all agree? ठीक है ना? So obviously we have so whenever we are assigning something, okay, so in many cases, if this is it's a life or death situation or a mission critical situation, okay, what do we do in this in such a case? What do you think a machine learning algorithm should do if we are very close to the decision boundary and we are not sure about my outcome? So my outcome here is going to be, the probability is going to be close to half, less than half obviously, but close to half. Okay, so what should a a, a, a good machine learning algorithm do for a mission critical situation? शिवांश,
मिशन क्रिटिकल
मतलब बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट सिचुएशन, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट वो है, तो मशीन लर्निंग सिस्टम को क्या करना चाहिए व्हेन वी आर नॉट वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट अबाउट द मशीन लर्निंग सिस्टम इज नॉट वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट अबाउट एन आउटपुट, व्हाट शुड इट डू?
बोलेगा सर कि नॉट श्योर ऐसा कुछ.
या so so that is what we do. Okay, if we are not too sure about this, then we also have some confidence boundary. Okay, so this is your decision boundary. We also have some kind of a confidence boundary, and inside which, let me use a different color, let me use this green color. Okay, we might have a confidence boundary. Okay, so this might be my confidence boundary, inside which the machine learning algorithm says, yaar, please do not trust me. Okay,
So we
please,
can
a
say
human
that.
being.
Can we say that the machine learning algorithm fails inside the confidence boundary?
No, it does not fail, but it is not that confident about the outcome. Why do we say? Means if it would
Like you said, if
it is just a limit. So it is a limitation of the machine learning algorithm. Okay, where a human being should interfere and see what class should be assigned. If even if a human being may not be, even a human being may not be able to come up with an answer. Okay, so that is a possibility. So in such situations, in life or death situations, or something very important, usually we assign blame to the human being rather than the program. That is the way of getting out of trouble for
yeah,
the
if we
programmers.
consider a Tesla car is going and
Yeah.
it is at such situation.
Yeah, so finally the responsibility, I think it is wrong. Okay, many Tesla cars have crashed into because it has a self-driving mode. Okay, but they call it something else, autopilot or something like that. But they say that we are not responsible, the driver is responsible because he is supposed to look at it every time. Obviously human beings are human beings, they want to be as lazy as possible, so nobody is actually paying so much attention while the car is driving on its own. So many of these cars have crashed, and finally Tesla has no responsibility, which I think is ridiculous. They should have a responsibility. They should not put a system where which is not foolproof in one sense, or they should take partial blame for it.
सर वो शायद से ऐसा बोलते हैं कि स्टीयरिंग पे हाथ रखना चाहिए कम से कम, मतलब ऐसा, या फिर कम से कम जगे रहो, बट लोग सो जाते हैं तो इसलिए.
यार मतलब तुम्हारे पास होती तो तुम क्या करते ये बताओ.
ये बात बहुत
तो अगर आप किसी को आई थिंक द पीपल हु आर प्रोवाइडिंग द पावर शुड टेक सम रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी इन दैट. That is my opinion, that they should not give that power so easily.
सर.
Like anyway, forget about that. Let's not go into politics. uh, so here in so what do you think in a case where PA and PB are equal and obviously higher than PC? What do you think we should do in that case? Vaishnavi was the person asking the question, no?
Yes, sir. We will
So
look and
means it is going to be obviously uh, a limitation of our algorithm, so we cannot make a decision in that case. Okay, we leave it to the human being to make a decision in that case. Okay.
yes, sir.
सर
Yeah.
सर इस केस में अगर दोनों का लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल अगर ए और बी का सेम आ गया देन इट इज पॉसिबल दैट इट इज एक्चुअली इक्वली लाइकली टू बिलोंग टू आइदर ए और बी.
Yeah, that is true.
So sir, we can just randomly assign it to either A or B.
Yeah, we can do that. Means that is what we are. So the in most cases, in most machine learning systems, when we are doing a classification, we would also have a third or fourth output. Okay, that fourth output is unknown. Okay, I can't determine. Okay, that is what is going to happen in this case. If you want human intervention, if the system is not that critical and you really do not care whether A is assigned or B is assigned, then you can apply what Tanya is suggesting. Okay, so if it is critical, then you include an additional class which will make a human being look at it, or if it's not that critical, then you can forego adding this additional class, unknown class. You just keep A, B and C and assign based on the probabilities. Okay, or if the two are exactly the same, then you just assign them randomly like Tanya just suggested. Okay, depends on how critical the situation, the task, the output might be. Okay, any other questions? Nope.
Sir,
Yeah, Bipul, are you saying something?
मतलब good machine. Yes sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
सर क्वेश्चन जो पूछे थे मतलब कि गुड मशीन लर्निंग के लिए क्या होगा, तो उसका मतलब आंसर क्या था?
गुड मशीन लर्निंग के लिए क्या होगा, कौन पूछ रहा था?
आप मतलब शिवांश से जो क्वेश्चन मतलब किए थे क्वेश्चन.
No, I don't understand what is. Shivansh, can you help? Maybe I forgot.
Sir, I think he's asking कि मेरे से जो क्वेश्चन पूछा था उसका आंसर क्या है.
तुमसे क्या क्वेश्चन पूछा था, मैं भूल गया ना, वही तो.
सर मैं भी भूल गया.
एक्चुअली वो पूछ रहा है, आपने बोला था कि गुड मशीन लर्निंग एल्गोरिदम क्या करेगी, आपको क्या करना चाहिए ऐसे केस में जब वो क्लियर नहीं है.
तो गुड मशीन लर्निंग एल्गोरिथम में ये होना चाहिए, it should have an uncertainty built into it. Okay, so you means so in a situation where the machine learning algorithm is not sure, it should give an output which tells the end user that please look at it, I can't do it. Okay, is that clear, people, or no?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes sir. Yes.
okay. So let us talk about something a little bit different. Let us say you have an input variable, okay, an input variable or a feature which is not numerical but qualitative. Okay, you have a qualitative feature. Qualitative feature. Okay, where feature is you'll all automatically probably know input variable. Okay. Let us say we are doing our semiconductor device fabrication, okay, and one of my inputs in my data set, one of the input data sets is wafer manufacturer, okay. So we use silicon wafers to make silicon devices, okay. Usually the company who makes devices does not make its own silicon wafers. They borrow, means buy it from somebody else. So let us say we are looking at a data set where one of the input variables is wafer manufacturer, and the output is that the device works or does not work, okay. So maybe one of the wafer manufacturers wafers do not work so well, okay. My devices do not work so well if I use a, so let us say I have 4 manufacturers, call them A, B, C and D, okay. And let us say I'm looking at, so this is my input X, okay, and my output Y is, let us say, threshold voltage. You obviously have other inputs as well. One of these inputs is wafer manufacturer, okay. And I see that the threshold voltage for a, I'm trying to see if there is a relation between a wafer manufacturer and the threshold voltage of the transistors that we are making, if there is a relation like that, okay. So what would you do in this case? You want, obviously, what do you apply? You apply a classification or do you apply regression? Please do not answer, I'll ask somebody. Vipul, what will you apply? Are you there, people? I could not hear anything. Can you repeat? Okay.
सर क्वेश्चन में एक डाउट है कि ए बी सी ये तो हम कैलकुलेट करेंगे ना खुद से, मतलब मेजर करेंगे, तो इसमें तो अभी एमएल का यूज कहाँ है?
What will we calculate?
मींस सर जो वेफर मैन्युफैक्चरर ए है उसके
हाँ.
ट्रांजिस्टर का हम पहले इनपुट में खुद से, मतलब नया
No. So this is not just 4 values. So I'm just showing it here. You will have, your data set will have, let me make it a little more clear. Manufacturer A की threshold voltage है 1.2. Means one particular wafer, okay. One set of data, one set of devices. The second set of devices also belongs to A. Let us say it is 1.212. Okay, the third set is from wafer manufacturer C. The threshold voltage here is 1.19. Okay, C again 1.192. Okay, then I do D, B, D, A. So I have maybe 100 data points. Okay, one of those, obviously I have other x1, x2, x3, let us call this as x10. Okay, my 10th column is the wafer manufacturer in a big huge data set, but the number of values of this wafer manufacturer is only 4: A, B, C or D. That is the point. Shivansh, now you get it or no?
Yes sir, yes sir.
Now can you fit a model now? Means what is the confusion?
सर मतलब अगर हमें y निकालना है तो रिग्रेशन ही करेंगे, क्लासिफिकेशन का तो कोई पॉइंट नहीं है.
Yeah, that is right. That was my question, whether we'll apply classification or regression. Okay, classification from on this side also we have a non qualitative value, on this side also a qualitative value, so you can possibly think about, ठीक है, तुम एक एटलीस्ट एक लॉजिकल थॉट जा सकता है कि मे बी वी कैन विदाउट असाइनिंग एनी न्यूमेरिक वैल्यूज हेयर वी कुड पॉसिबली डू अ क्लासिफिकेशन. Okay, if this is also a qualitative value and this is also qualitative value, but in this case we know that these are quantitative values. Okay, so how do I assign quantities to it so that I can have a good regression algorithm? How do I do that? कैसे करूँगा मैं? Again, I already showed previously that if I assign A to be 1 और B को मैंने 2 दे दिया, okay, C को मैंने 3 दे दिया और D को मैंने 4 लगा दिया, then I am sort of assigning priorities to these manufacturers. Okay, I am saying that C is somewhere in between A and D, which is not really the case. Okay, so assigning these, so doing this kind of coding, okay, assigning this kind of coding is not really a very good way of assigning of doing a linear regression problem. Okay, so what other option do I have? क्या करना चाहिए मुझे? 1 2 3 4 इनको बोलना गड़बड़ है. Okay, if I do that, then obviously I am saying that I already explained. I don't want to do it again. Anyway, so what can we do? क्या कर सकते हैं हम?
कुछ वैसा सोचना पड़ेगा, सबको 1 सबको 0 बार बार.
हाँ, good. But how do I do that? सबको 0 सबको 1 कैसे करेंगे?
ये तो सोचना पड़ेगा, पता नहीं. तब शायद से A को 1 कर दें, सबको 0 कर दें, फिर एक एल्गोरिथम लिखें, फिर ऐसे करके.
Good, very good.
एग्जैक्टली कैसे करेगा ये देखने, मतलब शायद से पता नहीं सर.
So let me say, so if my previously the variable name was x10, okay, let me change this, the input to, let us call that as x. So this x10 is subdivided into 4 variables. Okay, x11, x12, x13, x14.
His name seems to get sort of dictated almost by the field E2. Like
Aditya?
And maybe finish.
Aditya, can you mute yourself? He was not asking me a question, no?
No, sir.
Okay. So it can be divided into 4 variables. Okay, what do these 4 variables correspond to? Any idea? Shivansh, maybe you got it now.
मतलब सर x10 को अच्छा
बताओ, ये 4 variables को मैंने क्या कर दिया? So this is x10. I divided that into 4 variables. So each of this, so x11 stands for A. Okay, x12 is B, x13 is C, x14 is D. Okay, now what do I do? So x10 से मुझे इन सबको भरना है, तो मैं क्या करूँगा? पहला रो क्या होगा? फर्स्ट रो क्या होगा? So x10 का फर्स्ट रो is A. What is that going to be for x11? x11 is going to be 1 0 0 0. Okay, what is the second row going to so this is, what is the second row going to be?
0 1
0
0 0 1 0. What is the third row going to be? 0 0 1 0. What is the fourth row going to be? 0 0 0 1. What is the fifth row? 0 1 0 0. Again 0 0 0 1 and 1 0 0 0. Okay, so now x10 will no longer participate in the learning process. Okay, x10 has been now divided into four different columns, x11 12 13 and 14. Okay, and those 4 columns are going to participate in the learning process. x10 is no longer going to participate in the learning process any longer. Okay, do you all get it now? So here we are, please understand that each of these x1 to x10 were independent variables. Okay, they were not related to each other. Again, now x11, 12, 13, and 14 are now independent variables. Now we no longer are assigning any hierarchy between a, b, c, and d. Okay, they have been now divided into 4 different variables. We are saying whether a is present or not present, b is present or not present, c is present or not present, d is present or not present. Okay, but we know one which might be useful to us is that in each of these rows only one of them is going to be what? In each of these rows within the columns, only one of the columns is going to be
Present.
1. Okay, all other columns are going to be zeros. Okay, so this kind of encoding, okay, is called as one hot encoding or coding, whatever you want to call it. Okay, one hot encoding. Okay, only one of the columns is hot or 1. Okay, all other columns are zeros. Okay, any questions?
Sir,
Yeah,
I have FSM slot at 4 o'clock. So I have to.
I have what?
FSM slot at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, go, no problem, go.
Okay, okay.
Okay, no questions, anybody? Okay, then I think you guys are ready to do more involved machine learning problems. Should I start a new topic today? I'm thinking about waiting for next. So why don't we take a 10-minute break and we'll come back at, what is the time? 3:40 right now. We'll come back at 3:50, and please be ready with your solutions to your the first 2 assignments and the homework. So I'll ask you to explain to everybody. Okay. So we'll be back after 10 minutes. Okay.
Yes.
3:50.